Let's do the Esports Awards review. I will say things that people will not enjoy. I'll start this off just by saying that I obviously am on the panel of the Esports Awards. We have a very strict protocol about what awards you can vote for and what you can't. And I, naturally, because I'm me and I'm really anal about that stuff, I really work hard to recuse myself from anything where I think there's going to be like overlap or conflict of interest, declare everything in the meetings, you know. So I don't vote on any of the news stuff, the coverage stuff, the journalist stuff. I've publicly gone on record, and I won't reveal too much about it because also we agree we won't talk about discussions behind the scene. That has to be sacrosanct. But, you know, I've gone on record if I say I don't want to vote for this particular entity or individual because I think they're unethical and I don't think it's a good look that they're rewarded for that. So I'm even transparent in my rationale, okay? So, but I'm not talking in that capacity now. And I don't know if, you know, I don't know. Every time I do one of these reviews, I never know if they're going to go, oh, it's harsh as fuck, mate. You really can't come. Just walk into the next panel meeting like, hello, you said the awards were shit, Rich. Well, we did them. Yeah, but just my opinion, mates. So, you know, I'm always worried if I'm honest. It's going to upset people and people are going to catch feelings and, you know, it's going to impact on stuff moving forward. But that's fine. If you ever ask me to leave, I would totally understand. You know, I do lots of things. I'm very opinionated. I'm very vocal. I try and be transparent all the time. You know, I've got lots of other things. So, you know, whatever happens, happens. But I am going to give a very candid review and give my thoughts like I did last time. In the same t-shirt, probably. I don't know. So let's do it. Let's have a look at the awards. First thing I'll say for the purposes of the video. There's a trend now, and I don't like it. We're sort of like separating church and state a little bit, and like church and state's a silly way to describe it. But obviously, it's not just an esports award, right? We focus on esports, but there's influencer presence there as well. And so what it feels like is starting to happen a little bit is like we get a separate day now for the hardcore esports folk. And then you get the big day, and that's when the influencers can turn up and stuff. And it really was apparent from watching watching the broadcast, because the stuff that happened was wasn't part of the main broadcast. It was off camera, essentially. And, you know, it was like, I think it's sad because on the day for the hardcore, we give out the Lifetime Achievement Awards, right? We induct people into the Hall of Fame, essentially. And it's like, I think, yeah, there'll be I'm sure there's influencers with millions of followers, multi-millionaires, sat in the crowd who won't know who those people are. Shut the fuck up and take your medicine. This is our business, man. It's our industry. History matters. The pioneers matter. Those OGs whose names you don't know. Those Gen 1s, Gen 2s that built this thing that you're now a millionaire from. I don't give a fuck if you find it boring. Sit there, shut the fuck up, and pay respect to history. That's how it should be. That's how it works in sports. You know? You wouldn't bring out, like, I don't know, fucking Eusebio or, you know, whatever. You know, obviously Pele's not well at the moment, so I don't want to jinx it. You know, but you wouldn't bring out, you know, some, like, old dude who's got, like, you know, there'll be footballers, modern professional footballers who don't know who they are, haven't seen them play, couldn't tell you anything about them because they're not students of the history, they're students of the game. But they're not going to sit there like staring at their phones and ignoring it. They're going to pay homage to the greatness with the rest of us because they're part of something and we're all part of something and we're all meant to be interconnected. You know, so I don't like it being on a separate day. I brought that point up before. That won't come as a surprise. The Esports Awards guys always watch my reviews, so that won't come as a surprise. They know I feel that way. I brought that up before. But now we've expanded who's on the hardcore day. And the journalists are there now. Like, I don't know about that. Like, you got to give us something. Out of all the people at these awards, we're the scum of the earth. Of course we are. We're the people that don't make the money. We're the people who've got to say no to the money. We're the people everyone despises. We're the ones who write bad things about everyone else in the room. You ain't even going to let us sit at the big table for one day so people have to pretend they like us? Like, God, fuck that. That's an outrage. And this is probably the worst one, because, yeah, they did the collegiate stuff. Maybe that's fine. I don't know, collegiate's not big enough, but I still think one of the ways you make it big is by you put it adjacent to the professional shit. Maybe that's where the divide needs to be. Maybe we need to expand collegiate awards. You know, collegiate player of the year, collegiate team of the year, collegiate program of the year, collegiate coach of the year. Have an entire day for the collegiate stuff, maybe. I don't know. I'll make my suggestions and share my thoughts with my fellow panel members. And then analyst of the year was given out on the first day. And it's mental because I literally just come off I think it was the same day I came off the Four Horsemen podcast I did with Monty and Thorin and basically said, if there's one set of people who get it bad in esports, it's fucking, it's the analysts. They get fucking wrecked. They get cuckolded. Analysts, you're on the broadcast. You're one of the most important parts of the broadcast. So yeah, I didn't like that either. Like, I thought that was like really silly to do it like that. And I don't know if there's budget constraints or reasons why they're doing it or time constraints, because obviously everyone loves a fucking speech. But anyway, let's start here and we'll go through the awards. And it's important, I'm doing it the long way because obviously I think it's important to discuss some of the nominees so we can talk about whether we thought the award was good or not. I want to say by and large I didn't have a problem with most of the awards this time around. I know a lot of people did. A lot of people, you know, were criticising some awards, and I'm not going to say which way I voted, but at the end of the day, I didn't feel that way. I thought these were a pretty good set of awards. Maybe one or two I would criticise, but yeah. So let's do it. Thresh. I mean, again, Thresh is a guy that's been touted for a Lifetime Achievement Award, you know, because he's one of the OGs. Goes without saying. Thorin, I believe, did a wicked, I think it was a reflection series with him. If you're interested in those very early days, all the Quake OGs, all of that stuff, you should totally listen to that. It's really interesting. The Ogres finally got in. It's obviously Ogre 1 and Ogre 2. It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, and it was even before my time. I think I came into esports at sort of the tail end of 2000. I came in about 2004, so there was already stuff going on there. They both got inducted. That's absolutely fine. Heaton, yeah, well, I mean, this was, to your point, Zuko, this was a pretty good awards for Halo, in my opinion. And I think it's nice that Halo got a bit of recognition in this. But anyway, Heaton goes without saying. Yeah, Heaton was always going to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. One of the first ever breakout stars in Counter-Strike. One of the first people to elevate the game. And while, if you look at it historically within context, would you say he was ever truly a great player? No, but he was the first one to marry good looks, great physique, you know, big personality, will to win, and also used early media platforms, frag videos, frag clips, you know, promoting his demo files and stuff like that. Very savvy about how to make him the brand. You know, he was a real good progenitor of, you know, how to brand yourself as well as be a good player. Morgan Ramin, PhD, a lot of you might not know that name. She's done so much in the industry. She was in, I want to get it right, before she did Frag Dolls, was the women's team from back in the day, but she's now the director of initiatives over at AnyKey. She's been a great resource for people behind the scenes, that people have been struggling with stuff. She's just a real good advocate for esports and inclusion of all different people from different backgrounds. But, you know, Frag Dolls was around for fucking ages and was one of the first real, you know, for women orgs that were encouraging women getting into early sports, esports back in the early days. So, you know, a very well deserving award. Jason Lake. I just did a Richard Lewis show episode with Warden. I don't know when it'll be out, but Warden is obviously an OG, you know, fucking veteran Counter-Strike player. He was a coach of Complexity for 2 years. He was working at NYFU, as they were called in Valorant, and been a coach over there for 2 years. And, you know, we had a brief little talk, and basically, Jason Lake was just such an inspirational figure, not just because he went all in on esports and built his own org while he was a successful attorney. You know, he was a lawyer. But he also was the first guy to say, you know what? I'm putting on a fucking shirt and putting on a tie. And I'm going to treat this like I'm a sports coach. I am on. And he would stand behind his... People hadn't seen shit like this before. Guy in a fucking... You know, always wore a red tie, you know, because it was the club's colours. You know, he was like a football manager, you know. He used to stand behind them, shout himself red in the face. And again, another guy who understood, get those iconic moments recorded, bring me the pistols, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just a fucking legend. Just a legend. Made me realise it was okay to treat it seriously. So that's what I did, you know. When I was a coach and a manager of teams, and I used to stand behind my players, and I used to shout and scream, I knew it was okay because Jason Lick did it. And then Alex Garfield. Sadly, Alex isn't around a lot these days. My understanding is he's had some pretty bad health problems the last few years, but he is the guy that built Evil Geniuses, the most successful North American esports organization for pretty much what I would consider the golden era of esports. He was ruthless. Me and him used to butt heads, but I got a lot of respect for that man. We've talked a lot in not so distant times about those times. You know, for me, he was the big bad villain at the time I was a journalist, because he was the one who was ruthlessly corporate and sort of propelling esports into an era that, honestly, it probably needed to get to, and if it had just stayed there, it would have been fine. And what I later come to realize was that in terms of like villains, like, he was nothing. You know, yeah, he did some things that were a bit like, I didn't personally like him. It wasn't that important. It wasn't, you know, that big a deal. You know, the monsters in the room kept getting bigger and bigger, and, you know, as I've reframed my own history as a journalist, I sort of realised that actually, you know, Alex weren't all that bad. And certainly as a man, I've talked to him a lot, and I've found him to be a very, you know, conscientious and gracious person, even if at one time he was an adversary and an opponent, and yes, did blacklist me from his org at one point. But definitely one of the incredible minds esports, one of the most incredible minds esports has ever had, and we owe him a lot. The modern idea of esports agents, him. Obviously, the modern idea of an MGO, a multi-gaming organization, that's him. The idea of a streaming house, that's him. This guy's a fucking genius, dog. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? So, yeah, really, really happy with those Lifetime Achievement Awards. Like, totally. I thought they were really good inductees. Yeah, there's a couple of names, you know. Every year you say, when's this guy going to get in? They're definitely going to get in. When they're going to get in? But we have a rule where we only induct, we only induct 6. And we broke the rule a little bit to put both the ogres in. Esports PC Player of the Year. This was simple, even though it doesn't show you that here. It was simple. I mean, I don't know who else it could have been, really. There's like maybe an argument for Yay, maybe. But that for me, it's a big drop off. I think after that. You know, I know there was people maybe looking at this and going, "Oh, what about Maru?" Yeah, you know, I think all things told, I think Simple deserves it. There's not much to debate there. He's still, even though it's not been his best year, because I don't think anything's going to beat 2021. I don't think even Simple can beat that version of Simple. That was just some other shit. For me, it would have been between him and Ye, probably. Maybe Maru at the tail end, but not really. So yeah, I'm super happy with that award. This was one of the contentious ones. Lots of people seemed weirded out that Loud won it, which I don't understand why so many people got upset with it. I think they're very worthy winners. I think if you look at their achievements this year, they obviously won champions for the year. They won the big one. They were runners-up in Reykjavik. They won both of the Brazilian Challenger tournaments. So they didn't play an amazing amount of tournaments, but that's just the Valorant circuit. I don't think necessarily they should be penalized for that. The bottom line is they are way and above the best team in Valorant and have been dominant and consistent. So, seems to be good criteria. The other argument is obviously, you would say FaZe, you know, are in the equation. Across 2022, I think out of all the CS teams, They won the most, and it was a very good year for them. And obviously, I'm not an expert on mobile gaming by any stretch, but I don't know. I'm not angry about Loud winning. Basically, I just think like, yeah, okay, could have been Loud. If FaZe had come out, I'd have been all right with it. You know, but I'm looking at everyone else there, and I'm just sort of like, meh. It was a weird year in esports, like, because obviously we have to do this when we're picking. If you go and look across the totality of esports, there wasn't really any dominant, like truly dominant teams in top tier esports, really. It just wasn't that kind of year. There was just a lot going on, lots of changes, people adapting a life back where you're traveling to LAN and stuff. But I get it. Who won Esports Organization of the Year? Oh, of course, it was Optic. I saw Hex's speech, obviously. I watched that, where he was talking about, I might be able to get the clip, actually. Let's do that, shall we?
It is and has been a long path back to this stage to hold one of these. So it's last show, right? It's time to say goodbye. So first and foremost, Greenwall, thank you so much. We are here because of you guys. The players, obviously, they are the ones that made this happen. The incredible talent that sits behind our cameras, Maddie and everybody else. So it's unreal to be able to bring this back home after so long. So good night. Thank you.
And it's a shame, right? Because obviously it was right at the end of the night. I hated in award ceremonies where people get hurried up to give a speech. I understand, but I just think in a world like streaming, like, shouldn't there be a little bit of fucking flexibility? But whatever. It was the end of the night. Hex is a pro. He kept it short and sweet. But obviously, he would have loved to have talked about the journey, because for him, remember, we had all that stuff with Infinite. He sold it. He got it back. Things were problematic. He was doing other things with the business and blah, 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 blah. Had to get some players to come back, get some of his old people back. You know, I'm sure he would have loved to have told that fucking story on stage, and it would have made it extra poignant that for them to win Esports Organization of the Year is like a super big deal for them. So again, do I hate that? Absolutely not. Personal opinion, I would never want to see FaZe Clan get it, ever. I think FaZe are a destructive force on esports, not a positive one. They've never atoned for all the scams and sins and terrible things they've done, including some of the most recent pump and dump bullshit. Fuck them. I never want to see them be held up as the exemplars of what an esports organization should be. Obviously, it can't be EG. Obviously, it can't be G2. And suddenly, you know, it's like, yeah, 100 Thieves are always in with a shout, but you know my opinion on that? I think they're an esports org second. I know they won it the year before. But, yeah, I mean, look, Optic winning it, a good, clean organization with a great comeback story, run by a great guy who's given his life to this shit. Like, nah, how can anyone be angry about that? So that's fine. Coach of the Year. This was a weird one because Loud won Team of the Year, but I don't think their coach got nominated. So that was kind of strange, I guess. You would assume that would kind of... Well, whatever, anyway. This is just one of those. This went to Blade, obviously, of Na'Vi. This was like one of those where it's like, I don't know, again, because there hadn't been any truly dominant teams, it's very hard to sort of pick somebody. For me, the shortlist in my mind coming into this, how it works on the awards is, you know, you have your own thoughts and you're going to share those thoughts with the panel, but you're also going to shut the fuck up and listen to the panel because everyone's got their own areas of expertise, their own knowledge. You know, you don't just go and look at a Wikipedia page. You listen to people who know what the fuck they're talking about, and then you know, can they sway you? Does that make sense? Blah, blah, blah. So that's how that works. But I was surprised to see Loud's coach not on the list, but whatever. So for me, the shortlist coming in was maybe Blade. Like, if it was going to be Blade, it should have been last year, I think. But, like, I guess sometimes these awards, it's kind of weird. Like, it's like when Scorsese got the Oscar for The Departed. You know, Scorsese didn't get it for fucking Goodfellas. He didn't get it for Taxi Driver. He didn't get it for King of Comedy. You know, he got it for The Departed. And why? Because people know he should have had a fucking Oscar by then. Just really stupid. This being Coach of the Year, for me, he was maybe lower down on my shortlist of 3. I think Chet had a really good shout this year. Chet from Valorant. Optic were, I know they fell short, and Loud kind of overshadowed them at the big one. They had some, they had second places that really hurt them this year, but they were unbelievably strong, unbelievably consistent. And I think Chet's done a fantastic job over there. I think as well, you look at the emergence of some of the players. Well, Ye, when I interviewed him on the Richard Lewis show, he was very glowing and very kind about Chet. Said he was, really helped him improve as a player and helped his game. So, I think he could have been in. And Robban, again, if FaZe the potentially the team of the year. The problem with this is it's kind of an emotional one because it's like he had to sit out those 2 fucking majors, and so that hurts him a little bit, not just because, not perceptions or anything, but it hurts him because he wasn't at the fucking major that they won. He wasn't there. So does he get credit for that, and then is it emotional because you feel bad because his band's bullshit, so do you want to give him it so he can get something, a little consolation prize? That'd sort of be whack, right? Like, you've got to earn these awards, you've got to deserve them. Now, I'm not saying Robban doesn't. I mean, for me, he would have been one of my picks, no doubt, along with Blade, along with Chet. Like I said, that was the shortlist in my mind going into voting. And I think, I follow Dota. I get it. Like, I think Zhao 8, sound okay, but for me, I don't hate Blade winning it. I think he should have had one by now. So congratulations to him. Esports PC Rookie of the Year. Shame about a motherfucker, though, isn't it? Poor bastard. Burst onto the scene in OG. Looked fucking amazing. But just got wrecked by his fucking hero pool at the worst time. Like, everything aligned to fuck him up. And then he got benched. The poor bastard, like. Because seriously, if things had just gone a little bit different, this is why, never be a MOBA player. You're one patch away from irrelevancy if you're a MOBA player. No wonder they're all fucking stressed out and burnt out by 22. Like, never be a MOBA player. I felt super sorry for ATF the way his year panned out. Because I know everyone's like, he's toxic. Everyone's toxic in Dota, bro. Everyone's toxic in League, bro. Those games are designed to drive you insane. They are a psyop, right? They're not, I don't give a fuck. Like, if anyone ever brought up chat logs going, look at Richard Lewis saying these outrageous things, or if anyone had a recording of me flipping my shit in Dota, I would like to think people would just have the good decency, the good grace to go, yeah, he's playing Dota, no wonder he's gone psycho. And that's the end of the scandal, as it should be. I never fucking going hard on people for being toxic in a video game designed to make you lose your mind. So I think ATF was like, if the sort of second half of the year just didn't go the way it did, it would have been in with a very good shout. But anyway, Munazy winning this. Does anyone disagree? I didn't hear it if anyone did. I think Munazy was a great pick. I love him doing the shush here as well. Obviously, it sucks because he is playing on G2. You can't hold that against him. That's not his fault that G2 are what they are. He's lived up to all the hype for me. Is he the best AWPer in the world? No, obviously. But is he right up there in his rookie season? Yeah. Obviously. So, fuck, what more do you want from a rookie player? And I think he's got lots of room to grow and lots of room to develop. And the encouraging thing for me when I look at Munazy play, Munazy knows, like, all the trick smokes that you expect an IGL to know. Like, he knows all the trick smokes, all the trick flashes, all the one-ways. Like, the breadth of his game knowledge at such a young age is fucking ridiculous already. And it's not just having that, it's that he's gone out and got that all himself by experimenting and playing the game. So, very well deserved award for me, in my opinion. This guy is obviously going places. Esports Controller Rookie of the Year was Seku. I'm not going to talk about any of the controller player stuff because, again, it's a little bit out my wheelhouse. I know 1 or 2 games. That's about it. This was a good one, the Esports Controller Player of the Year, Formal. I did see people, I find that funny. Like, someone said, who's Formal? Formal, obviously, he's like a, legendary fucking Halo player. But he's won events in Halo and Call of Duty. He was the first, he was the first ever player to do it. He was the first ever player to win a major event in Halo and Call of Duty. That's how much of a psycho that guy is. So yeah, to the Zoomers. But you know, if you don't watch those esports, you know, you might not know. But obviously, he's with Optic now, and everyone was loving him, rightly so. Guy's a legend, unbelievably talented. I think this is like a no-brainer for me. I'll skip mobile player as well. Here we go. Here's one of the controversial ones for me. Colorcaster of the Year. I have to temper this and say I don't watch a lot of Halo. It was a bit before my time. I came in at the era when it was all MLG, and the headlines were Halo players are going to be on the side of a can of Dr. Pepper. It was a really, really big deal. But I never got into competitive Halo. I played the Halo games, like probably everyone did, but it just didn't appeal to me to go online with an internet connection and dust people up and all that shit, which wasn't my jam at that time in my life. So I've always had a lot of respect for Halo as an esport, and I've always got a lot of respect for what MLG did with Halo as an esport and how it created this. Again, it's really foundational in terms of what modern esports looks like. But for me, this award, I've heard Brav, you can see here.
For Esports Colorcaster of the Year.
I'll just play the speech.
Win at the Esports Awards.
And look, I'm never going to take away anyone's shine. Everyone on the list is obviously deserving. If you make it on the shortlist at these things, you are good at what you do.
This is crazy and unexpected. I've been coming to the Esports Awards for many years now. Truly never thought that I'd be on the nominee list, let alone on stage. First, I got to thank my co-caster, Mark Onset Hatcher. He's the best in the business, and he couldn't be here tonight, but I truly share this award with him. Also, the entire team at CSA for all the support, and the entire HCS team, everyone at 343 working on the Halo Championship Series, and also Esports Engine, the entire Halo team there. It was an amazing comeback year for Halo, so to be part of it was just a privilege. Also, a lot of important people in the room today that paved the way for Halo Esports. Sundance DiGiovanni is here, Adam Apicella is here, also Mike Sepso, and we have the Ogre Twins, Lifetime Achievement winners who kind of paved the way for all this. So grateful. Thank you all, and thank you to the Esports Awards. Thanks, everyone.
Really good speech, gave props, probably too much props, and didn't take any credit himself. Sign of a nice guy, nice, and I'm pretty sure, but these awards things are pretty fucking hazy. Pretty sure I did get introduced to him, and we had a beer together in a large group. Mainly with the MLG dudes at some point. Seems a lovely chap. So, now, that said, I look at the people on this list and man, it's really hard. The casters are always so tough, but in no particular order, just talking about thoughts Artosis, still been there, still doing that. And obviously, Tastosis ended this year as an official. No, they ended their run with GSL. So that's an iconic esports thing, and emotion shouldn't inform these things. But also, I do think there is a timeliness that creeps in to these things as well. So Artosis not being part of GSL anymore is it's unthinkable. So Artosis is one of the best to ever do it in the business. I think he fucking hates me, but we've had our differences. Again, it's the price of being a journalist. Sometimes you have to write nasty things about people, true things, but that never seems to matter to them. But he did a great Reflections. It was like a 2-parter or maybe even a 3-parter on Thorin's YouTube channel. Really good to watch, really illuminating. Guys, full of knowledge. And, he would have been a good shout this year for me. I think Hypoc, been doing great work. He's a super cool guy. I met him through PUBG. Definitely does amazing work. Him and Pansy have just great chemistry. It's really, really cool. Yeah, I realized I said Brav because I use his Twitter handle, but yeah, his caster name is Bravo. Trent was on there as well. Good shout. But I'm gonna just say it. I'm mad biased, right? Because I watch CS more than any other game. But I don't think it is bias. I think Sponge has evolved to be one of the best color casters Counter-Strike has ever had. I knew he would. Remember, I'm the guy who pushed him into broadcasting in the first place. I'm like, Chad, stop playing. Get a broadcasting job. Be an analyst, go crush it. But I think he's evolved into one of the best color casters we've ever fucking had in CSGO, because he's got the analyst chops, he's got the ex-pro chops. He's just a really good caster. He's just a really good talker. He's really charismatic. He's just really good at what he does. Everything he's tried, with the exception of maybe being a player. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, Chad. I love you, brother. You know that. Everything he's tried, post player, he's been amazing at. He's been S tier at, right? He's been an S tier analyst. He's been an S tier color caster. He's making a wicked podcast right now, So he carries HLTV confirmed. He can do it on camera, just audio. He's the only guy I would listen to. It was him, Moses, and Stunner whining about male pattern baldness for an hour and 15 minutes. Only he can make that work. Sure, it's the old boys club. I've known Chad since 2006, 2007, something like that. He's my boy, like one of the people I genuinely love, from the CS family. Yeah, so I have got that against me. But I don't know. I don't think I let bias infect my brain too much. So that was one. The analyst of the... But I'll end it because he's a good guy. Well done, Bravo. It's good to see Halo get a lot of respect this year, and it's been criminally ignored and underrated in past award ceremonies. So again, am I mad? Definitely not. It doesn't make me mad. It's just a little bit of a contentious one for me personally. Esports desk analyst, remember, handed out in the shadowy journalist room. Lots of good names on this list, and it got corrected. There was an issue where in a number of awards, some people were overlooked, and so they added them. They corrected it and added them. Maniac was one of the beneficiaries of that, and as it should be, because he should have been on the list. The Analyst of the Year, there was some really strong names in this, and again, some esports I don't watch religiously, but I'm sick in the head. When Overwatch is on, I will tune in to watch a desk segment to see what they're doing, because I like to know where esports is. Because I do think one day, if I don't get entirely out of esports, I'll go behind the camera and work and make a super sick broadcast, hook up with some of the old producer buddies, and just make an actual good fucking show. Call up some of the old contacts from WSOE, get some VC money, and maybe have a run at being a TO and just doing things the right way until the money burns out, and then it'll be another glorious failure, like WSOE was. Yeah, other names, just before I talk about the winner, because again, I thought this was more than fine. I thought this was well-deserved. Maniac being on there. I think Maniac right now, he just steals it from Yanko for me in the current crop of analysts that we've got. I think Maniac's the most well-rounded analyst. Got the knowledge, never scared about giving his opinions. Where he jumps ahead of Yanko a little bit is he's just a bit more emotional. He can express himself in a broader array. Yanko's a very stoic guy. He's got two emotions really: angry and very angry. But no, I think Maniac's just he's got that range. And Maui's made great strides this year, one for the future. He knows how I feel about it. He is going to be a staple of CSGO broadcasts for years to come. But I think right now, out of everybody, Maniac, for me, hands down, is the best CSGO analyst. He should have been in with a shout of winning this. But then again, as should Yanko, right? Yanko has definitely been part of every major, every big event I could think of. He doesn't get hired for Blast, but he's a staple at all the ESL events. He was at the majors, so definitely in consideration as well. And let's also be real, Maniac and Yanko, when they're together, you can't fuck up a desk like that. You just can't. You've got two unbelievably smart guys with loads of expertise in different areas. Yanko, observer, coach, player, knows all the Balkan region, all the CIS region, all of those players. Maniac, former player, but also speaks 7 fucking languages. PhD in neuroscience or whatever fake PhD I've given him this year. I always get it wrong. It's probably psychology, I want to say, actually. But anyway, does have a PhD, super smart. knows all the stories about the French and European players, still very well connected with loads of the players as well. And when they're together, yeah, even Parler pulls it off, mate. Like, you know what I mean? It's fine. It can't go wrong. It can't go wrong when you have those two together. So either of them are happy. I'll say this as well. I think, like, Reinforce has really proved himself. Like, when I first met Reinforce, he was young, bit of a fanboy, bit of a meme. Like I say, hilariously, when we were out one night, he was accidentally, like, just spilt an entire full pint all over Thorin. You can imagine how that went down. Just super awkward. But like, he's just developed year upon year, and, like, he's a staple over at Overwatch. You know what I mean? He's a really good kid. I like him a lot. I don't see him as much as I used to. Obviously, he's in the Overwatch world now, and I'm not welcome to be that abundantly clear. But yeah, like, he's he's done loads of good work. Evil Cat Mimi, she's fucking amazing. She is like 1920, so she's like a Zoomer. She's already one of the best analysts and podcasters in Valorant. She's also a shit hot producer. Like, when she did her core stream for Valorant, she had the games like zooming in and out of her like fake log fireplace and everything. She's just wicked. She's going to be one of the, like, she'll get to the end of her career when she's washed up and 40 years old and all that, and too old for esports. But she'll have been one of the greats if she sticks around, for sure. Like, no doubt about it. But that said, the winner, and I'm skipping over K-Drill there, but he knows I respect him and like him. So, csgo. Now, Jess has done Valorant, but obviously is really well known in Rainbow Six as well. Just a great authoritative analyst. You don't really see a lot of people on a desk really stamp their authority on what they're saying. She's been a coach. She's very forthright in her views. I love the way she handles herself. She gives like a little bit of edge to esports that traditionally don't have it. And you don't often get it from a feminine voice as well. You don't often get that edge. She says stuff that, like, I think if I had Thorin say this on a desk, like, I wouldn't be surprised. She really doesn't mince her words and doesn't give a fuck. And because she was a coach as well, she's got that expertise and credibility, and knows all the players, like, very well researched. I've tuned in and watched a number of Rainbow Six events, and I really like all the Rainbow Six talent pool they've got. And she was very good at sort of bringing me into the storylines and making me understand stuff that I wouldn't understand because I don't even play Rainbow Six, even though I'm watching it. So absolutely don't hate this award either. Certainly think she was deserving of it, and she's done hosting as well. So, and you'll often find hosts, if you work as an analyst and you work as a host, it really helps you understand how a desk all fits together. So yeah, happy with that. Speaking of hosts, host of the year, we had obviously, I mean, these names, it's all the same, just a plethora of hosts. This one, always, it's the heartbreaker, because you go down the list. First of all, everyone's a round of Banks in the chat. We all love a Banks, don't we? Banks got nominated for this award, which I believe it's his first esports award he's got nominated for, indicative of the ubiquitous year that he's had. But look, it's not a surprise. He wouldn't have got my vote. This field is so unbelievably strong. You have to be like world class, TV class level to win this award. Host of the year. It's the toughest field of any esports award. Just look at the losers. You know what I mean? Look at the people that didn't win, right? I've talked about Zoe till I'm blue in the face. I think she is just criminally underrated as an all-round talent. I think she's amazing. Like, musical, plays violin, intelligent, funny. Just every time she's on an Overwatch desk that I'm watching, I just think it's a shame it's Overwatch for you. I'd love to see her do other things. Like, I'd love to see her come and do bigger games, because I'm pretty sure if she did like an S tier esport, everyone would be talking about it. There would never be an end of praise for her. It would just be so ridiculous. So Shiva, I mean, I think she's great. She's just a wonderful person and just incredibly talented, and hosted the big ones in Dota this year. Dota desks are not great, but that's nothing to do with her. That's not, and to be real, it's nothing to do with any of the hosts. They've just got really crazy, over-focused analysts there, bar one or two names that do add something a bit different. They don't get a lot of help from production. Having an augmented reality like gold pile on my desk is not enough to help sell the really dry things we're talking about. You need cutaways and zim zam, whizzle wazzle woozle. You need all that for a Dota desk, really, because if it's Purge, again, God love him, knows what he's talking about, super knowledgeable. But you got to jazz that up. You got to put some polish on that, and they just don't. The production don't, and it's sad because I think it makes the analysts seem really flat. And again, I've met lots of the Dota talent, nice people. So yep, could have been Shiva. Yinsu, obviously, hosting all the big Valorant events, crushing it. Wavepunk, I know Caleb. Again, we worked with E-League together. Had a great time. Took him out for some fried chicken down at South City Kitchen in Atlanta. He's from Texas. He spent the entire time critiquing the fried chicken, saying this fried chicken ain't shit. Even though it was award-winning fried chicken, he's like, this ain't nothing compared to Texas fried chicken. Wavepunk's just a really good guy and really good. It's kind of crazy that he's moved into being a host, because he's another dude who can do it all in Rocket League, and his time will definitely come. He's nailing down that role. Dash wins it. I mean, Dash is a contender every year as well. Just fucking great. And look, they would have had to rename it the Shocks Award, but I think it probably should have been Shocks again, maybe. I don't know. Golden Boy's in there every year as well. It's just fucking crazy how much talent there is, and you are gonna have to break it up. But I think Dash, in terms of what he does on LCS, he is such an integral part of the broadcast. He just does so much and does so much right as a host. Really, really good at what he does. And so, absolutely, winning this award, 100%, super happy. The other tough one, probably the next one on the list, play-by-play caster of the year. You will notice Machine gets in there, so he's been nominated for host and caster now. And I think he's won host of the year as well, if memory serves me correctly. I think he got it. Another guy, obviously Uber. I love Uber, love Mitch, super talented. We had him in CSGO, we just didn't hold on to him, and then he was Overwatch and Valorant. Guy's a fucking G. Guy is just so fucking talented and amazing at what he does. You've got Miles Ross, won it last year. Miles knows. I mean, I went out for drinks with him at New York, but unfortunately the night got a bit sloppy and weird, and I feel terrible about that. Well, it wasn't my fault, but I really had been looking forward to spending time with these people, and we all just ended up in a really fucked up headspace because of some shit that was going on. I fucking feel terrible about that, because I don't know when I'll next get to go drinking with him, but the guy's a legend. Yeah, it was just classic New York. Just New York things, I guess. But Miles is fantastic. He is going to come on the podcast. We keep batting it back and forth. We're going to get him on at some point. He's on the list. I'm pointing at you. You can't see it, but I do literally have a list of guests and dates. Yeah, so he's done great work this year. Got it last year. OD Pixel, how I feel about Owen. He's fucking. What he does in a Dota game with team fights as well, being so long, drawn out, and messy these days, that he sustains the pace and the almost breathlessness of what's going on, keeps everybody informed, so he's got the knowledge, he's got the ability to concentrate on each individual thing. And let's be real, a team fight in Dota these days with all the cosmetics and effects and all, it looks like shit, dude. Your brain goes down to fucking 2 FPS, So what he does is it's probably some of the hardest play-by-play you can do, and he does it with aplomb. I know everyone jokes around and calls him Rap God. It's so much more than that, because I've listened to casters Like, there was a stream I was going to do. I never got around to doing it. But there was a guy who had said, like, oh, I'm a really good caster. He was, like, casting his own games like Scrawny did, and he kept uploading it and saying, I want to get serious about it, but I don't know where to start. But he really overestimates his skills, because what he's doing is, he's doing an impersonation of a commentator. He can talk really fast, but he's not saying anything, you see. And a lot of people think speed is, like, the end game. If you're able to talk really fast and do this and not trip over your words and like the horse racing commentators do, they go, oh, God, he's amazing. If you're talking bollocks, it's fucking shit. It's just you rapping fast. You know, like, that's it. You're not even rapping. It doesn't even rhyme. To be able to talk with specificity and accuracy and intelligence and be informational at that speed is ridiculous. So Owen is, like, just one of the greats for me. But yes, Pansy got it. And, you know, you talk about great. Sorry again. If I'm ignoring other names, I feel terrible doing this because it's like, you know, it's like I ignored Anna. You know, I didn't talk about Anna in the hosting. Many of you won't know Anna. She's from Brazil. She does all the hosting, the big Brazilian events and stuff. She's fucking great. She's really good. And she doesn't have an audience, like, you know, a big audience outside. She's really good. No, it's like I'm skipping over her because of that, you know. But I'm just picking out thoughts. So if I don't say your name and you end up watching this and it hurts your feelings, I am sorry. It's not that I don't rate you. As I said, anyone on the list deserves praise and recognition. But Intero, obviously another fucking amazing guy, you know, over at Rainbow Six, like super cool dude as well. Captain Flowers, you know, like they're all just God. Like I say, it's another unbelievably strong field, like just God tier. But for me, Pansy winning it. She's killing it over in fucking Valorant right now, and keep in mind, you know, like, she's another person that she could come back to CS, knock it out the park. She could go do PUBG anytime she wants. I don't know why she would, but, you know, she could knock it out the park. She's killing it at Valorant, got one of the hot partnerships over there. Like, her and Hyde Park are just top tier. Like, anytime you listen to a game and you get them casting it, you know you are in for a treat. And she's been overlooked for way, way too long, like criminally overlooked in CSGO. Never forgive the community for how she was treated. Never will. All those fucking... The sad thing is, all those pathetic little nerdy incels that did that have now, like, grown up and probably changed Reddit accounts 20 times in the interim because they were trolls. They're probably the losers who say, I wonder whatever happened to Pansy. You know, like, fuck them. Never forgive them. No surrender on that one. But yeah, I mean, like, again, fucking, she's just great. And, she had no expectations of winning the award as well. She was like tweeting about, look at this, I've got a goodie bag and it's got Crocs in it. Because the awards were sponsored by Crocs. Everyone got a pair of Esports Award themed Crocs in their goodie bag. Just as a segue for the Esports Awards people, right? And I'll find you the tweet, actually, just to underline it, just to show it to you. There, look, this is what you get. I've still got mine from all the other years I attended. You better be mailing me one out, by the way. Yeah, get on that. You got my address. But yeah, you can see they give you a thing and all the goodies, and then look at this, the Crocs, Esports Award Crocs, the dream. I got socks. They got Crocs. I literally did. If you go back and watch the review, I said, and I'm wearing a totally different Okinawa t-shirt. They said that I got socks. Croc bottom. Yeah, all right. Not your best work, Carve. Workshop that one. So yeah, look, super happy with Pansy. She gave a great speech. Obviously, we all love Pansy around here. We all love it. She was great on the No Majors Club. Really made the No Majors Club. Everyone else was going to be Tank unbelievably low, Henry miserable, but not Pansy. She came on like a trooper.
And the winner of Esports Play-by-Play Caster of the Year is Pansy.
This marks Pansy's second nomination for the Esports Play-by-Play Caster of the Year and her first win of an Esports Award.
Wow. All right. It's a rowdy front row. I appreciate it. Since we're getting close to the time, we're going to go to the bar. I'll keep it short and sweet. Firstly, thank you to the community at home who voted, who got involved, who's watched and followed all these games and supported us storytellers throughout the years. It was an incredibly stacked category. I mean, Flowers, Odie, Pixel, Mitch somewhere back there. I see you. The suit's glistening. I see you, bud. Parker. I mean, it's unbelievable. So a huge thank you to everyone, and of course, the co-casters, the analysis, color casters on the way. Michael, I see you with a drink in hand. Good work. Proud of you, bud. For the recent Valorant stuff, back in the day, the PUBG work. With you and Alex, of course, Machine. Not here, but in spirit, I'm sure he's drinking at home. So thank you very much.
He surely is.
Sweet and short. I'm going to get out of here and see you at the bar.
And wear my Crocs. There you go. So Pansy got an award. So I'm super happy about that. About time. About goddamn time. Content Group of the Year. Yeah. All right. Esports Content Creator of the Year. This is like so strange because it's like there's loads of good content creators and they'll do like a little bit of esports, but the content won't be esports. And then it's like, should they be on? Should they not be? There'll be some really big content creators, you know. Like I think Critical got nominated. I think one year for like. He got nominated for like Esports Content Creator of the Year, I think. And it was like, he's a content creator. He has a cursory interest in esports. He's like a cool guy, but I don't know. You know, it's like, it's super hard because we're meant to be focusing on the esports aspect of it, you know? But anyway, Hex on there, you know, Imperial Hal on there. I was coming in and I was like, you know, who's going to get it? Like, you know, Dominate. You know, Dom for me was definitely him in the shout. BSJ, think he's grown his YouTube channel now pretty big. He's allowed to get subs because of the type of content he does, not like me. So he's overtaken me this year, I think. I think he's like on 140k now. I was there when he had like 20k. But you know, whatever. Not bitter at all. We save all the bitterness for the journalist. The journalist stuff's going to come out at the end. The video's going to end on such a sour fucking note. I can't even be bothered, like, because I am going to say it. I'm going to give my fucking honest opinion. But anyway, Hungry Box. I've obviously, you know, not going to lay any great claims to be like a Smash fan or anything like that. But like loads of people have advocated for him and saying this is a good win for the award and stuff like that. I don't know. You know, I don't hate it, you know? I don't hate it. I don't, like, he's a really cool guy. He's a super nice dude. Legend in the game. You know, by all accounts makes great content. So, I'm all right. I'm in it. The Esports Content Series of the Year. There's so many of these now, I don't have time to watch them all, so I couldn't really sit here and give, like, opinions, you know, like, the eavesdrop, the process, the story. I'm just glad it wasn't the score. Because fuck the score, Esports, forever. Fuck them forever. You still haven't apologized publicly for your plagiarism. You still haven't publicly acknowledged that your business model is essentially chopping up bits of other people's content, cobbling together a dog shit script about something you weren't there for and know nothing about, and then presenting it as if you are a credible authority on the matter, which you are not. And until you acknowledge that, fuck the score, Esports, forever. Fuck them forever. Fuck him forever, even now that Colin McSteele isn't there anymore. Still fuck him. Game of the Year? I mean, what else can it be, right? Esports Game of the Year? It's Valorant, innit? Does anyone disagree? You know, I don't. Yeah, Val Omega LOL rant, yes, by all accounts. Okay, well, let's just look at the games. Why would it be League this year? Nah. League's had a ton of fucking problems with the code. Loads of bugs and glitches have crept in. It's probably in a worse state now than it was last year. So it wouldn't be League. By the way, we're going to be doing a 4 Horsemen episode on the state of League of Legends, and I'm going to be there. making it that VOD will get memory hold. And never seen by anyone in the League community, making the exercise somewhat redundant, but looking forward to that. Why would it be CSGO? As we've established, CSGO is in the worst fucking state it's ever been in. It's garbage. I can't even stand to watch it. It makes me ill. I tried again. I got up today. This is a side. I'll go big head. Break up the monotony with a bit of big head. I got up today. It's blast, you know. World Finals, last event of the year. Let's fucking watch this. It won't be bad. The stakes are high. We filtered them down. It'll be enjoyable. Immediately, the day started with, it was Outsiders Liquid. How's your Outsiders today, dickhead? Are you fucking serious? And as I told you, They are not the best team in the world. Not even fucking close. Not even close. Never in a million years. They won a dog shit major in a dog shit way, in a dog shit meta. It will not be remembered. Like 10 years from now, like when CSGO's something else, and we're talking about the old days that we talk about 1.6, no one will remember this team. No one will remember that win. It's over. So I told you. So you have a 16-10 on Inferno. Liquid love fucking picking Inferno and losing Inferno. Then 16-8 to Liquid on Anubis, which everyone's playing. Haha, we like Anubis. Now we don't have to play Mirage, I think. But they did play Mirage in this series. But people are picking Anubis. That didn't work. That was Outsider's pick. They got 8 rounds. And then Liquid beat them. So it wasn't even long or drawn out, right? But it was shit to watch Outsiders play because they use all the time in the round. So 8 rounds of watching Outsiders play is like 30 rounds of watching a normal team play. Then, after that, FaZe G2. Well then. You had Nuke. That was competitive, right? I think it was 10-10 at one point, and then G2 pulled away. Inferno. Wicked comeback by FaZe. You know, bit of a choke by G2. Fully tilted in the last map, 16-4. Hooksy losing his mind. Telling Nico, I don't care what you think. Terrible. CS. Again. OG beat Heroic. Oh, Heroic using a stand-in. Spoiler, the stand-in is config. Spoiler, config top frag. But you had another overtime game on Anubis. And then, fucking Na'Vi, they did that thing where they're bedding in that nipple guy. Like, while this happens, it's going to be fucking flamey and bit all over again. Yeah, it's NPL, but he was called Nipple. He was NIPL. He's like another Ukrainian academy player. He's going to be the long-term replacement for SDY. Although it's got to be said, maybe not if he plays like he did today. They lost both maps. They got 2-0'd. Then they subbed in SDY for the second map. All the games today were just terrible. Didn't enjoy a single one of them. You know, from a world finals. So, no, CSGO's in a shit state of affairs, I'm afraid. Right, back to the Esports Awards. Rant over. So it wouldn't be CSGO, would it? Why would it be Rocket League? Why would it be Dota 2? Why would it be Apex Legends? Definitely isn't Fortnite. Definitely isn't PUBG Mobile. So it's just a bad year for esports games in general. So Valorant, the game's improved. They've made changes. They've introduced new content. They've announced their big fucking, you know, pseudo franchise and partnership league. Loads of good things has happened in the game. It's produced some absolutely wicked, memorable moments. The Loud Optic rivalry occurred this year. So yeah, Free Fire is the free equivalent. But they play that in other regions. But PUBG had the problem. It got banned in China and it got banned in a few other areas as well. It got banned in Afghanistan because the Taliban said, if you play that PUBG mobile, that'll corrupt you. It'll corrupt the youth. Make you believe nasty things. So, yep, Taliban do not support violent video games. Skipping over to mobile. Again, sorry to do it to you, the world of mobile. Esports Personality of the Year. This was interesting. I am going to say something that will shock you to your core. All right? I'm pretty sure people didn't vote for Ocelot because of the Andrew Tate thing. I have no idea because, again, we do blind voting. I have no idea who votes for what. But I'm pretty sure the Andrew Tate thing was like, nah, you can't have him cancelled and then get up and be like, I'm back. I'm the personality of the year. I'm the guy that got G2 fucking removed from the Valorant League. How you all doing? So you can't have that, right? You can't have that. Simple was nominated for personality this year because the things that have happened in his country have made it so he's more culturally relevant. It's not just about his gameplay now. Could have happened. Could have been a good shout. Hex is always going to be there. You know, Faker is becoming a bit more of like a outgoing personality and breaking up Mystique of being, you know, the quiet legendary player that he was. He's done loads of like, you know, additional media stuff. He's gonna, you know, I don't even know what he's gonna do next. But obviously when he does announce it, it's gonna be huge. And like I say, he's been in loads of Korean content this year. Yeah, and on the issue of should it be critical, would have been mega happy if he won the award for Esports Personality. Would have been very happy if he won Esports Personality of the Year. Because, yeah, he's done loads to, like, and it's Rocket League, but but he's done loads to like, and obviously, fuck that community forever, fuck them all. But, you know, he's done loads to mainstream it, loads to promote it, loads to fund it. They took a stance. They didn't go and play in, was it Abu Dhabi? They were meant to play in? I can't remember. Or was it Dubai? Anyway, whichever, where, yeah, the Gamers 8. Gamers 8 was Dubai, right? Anyway, they said we're not going to go there, and they made it abundantly clear that they won't be supporting that kind of thing. He's already shown more backbone as a team owner in like 18 months or whatever it is. He's been doing it than most of our legacy team owners did. So, you know, what was Gamers 8 the Saudi one? Oh, I can't remember, dude. Like, there's so many Middle Eastern events right now. It's like I can't even keep up with them all. So maybe it was in Riyadh then. But anyway, whichever one. They said they wouldn't go to it. So if Critical got it, I would have been super happy. Like, you know, works for me. Nadeshot winning it? Maybe, I don't know, maybe not this year. He's been very front and center. He's always going to be one of those like accessible owners. He's done loads of core streaming and loads of content, but I don't know, I don't feel like it's been that kind of year for him. You know, he has done this golf thing with Bryson DeChambeau. That's pretty big. I don't know. But here's who should have won it. Gowles. For me, objectively, I cannot think of an esports influencer or personality that's had a bigger impact this year than him. And I don't think it's even close. He's like the biggest streamer in the world, I think by some distance. He was present at a major. Yeah, I didn't like what he did, but he had his own dedicated fan zone at a major CSGO event. He has, you know, promoted the Brazilian CS scene loads. He's the official Portuguese language streamer for almost every big esports event. He runs a fucking company that like leases outcasters to events, the Omelette Company, and they do a lot of Il Tribo, you know, branded work. I just don't see how Gowles can't win this award this year. Yeah, that's a little bit like putting a bad person as the Time Person of the Year. There's a little bit of that in there, but I don't think it matters. I think in terms of impact, it should have been Gowles for me. I was certainly surprised to not see Gowles get it. The Esports Play of the Year was won by Twists. Now that's hype as fuck.
Unfortunately, Twist was not able to attend this evening.
One of the areas where the Esports Awards have really struggled in my opinion, is some of the plays they've announced for Play of the Year are just trash. And I think it comes from, I don't know when these are being picked, because it's multiple esports, right? Like, I might not, so for example, you show me a wicked play in like Fortnite, I'm gonna be like, oh, you built a building really fast, like everyone else in Fortnite, okay? And like, I wouldn't contextually understand why it was a sick play, right? So you have that issue, and I think when it comes to breaking it down, you've got to remember an entire year for every esport ever, every game, every moment, then present it to people who have to understand it. It's the hardest award to get right, but it's been bad by and large. It's been a bad award. That's the first play. I think that's been worthy of winning it, probably. I think they might have had the Cadian Clutch one year, which I know everyone raves about. I don't think that Cadian Clutch was all that, by the way. Sorry. I don't even think it was the best clutch that year, let alone one of the best clutches of all time. But that's me, you know. I'm a cantankerous old man, aren't I? So whatever. With one t-shirt. So got nothing, lost it all. And then for Streamer of the Year, was Gowles nominated for this as well? Yeah, he was. See, this is the other issue. It's like, if he doesn't get personality, you think, oh, well, he must get streamer. But the problem here is as well, Ibai, we talked about him on the last video I did. He's got, I don't really know anything about the dude. He's got this huge fucking following. Just absolutely, you know, like, does so many hours, so much content, so well loved, you know, massive following. Like, so yeah, I mean, like, streamer of the year, obviously I've got like a sort of English-speaking bias because, you know, I don't really speak a lot of other languages, and certainly I don't speak Portuguese and I don't speak Spanish, so, you know, I'm going to struggle to reach, to understand and appreciate a lot of the, you know, Latin American world and obviously the Hispanic world. You know, it's hard to really, you know, like get an appreciation of what these guys do. But I look at the other names on the list, and it's like, you know, you're always going to see a Dr. Disrespect. You're always going to see a Nick Merckx. You're always going to see a Tim the Tap Man. They're going to be there year upon year. I think Tarek has sort of come into his own this year. I think there could have been an argument for Tarek to win it. I think Tarek's been doing all the Valorant co-streaming. You can decide whether or not it's good content. I think a lot of co-streaming content is lazy, but I'm as guilty of that when I co-stream as anybody else. So I wouldn't want it to be a criticism. But I think Tarek has done so much in terms of raising the profile and the audience of the Valorant streams. You know, there've been times when his co-stream has even had higher viewership, I think, than the mainstream. That's like quite a fucking thing to say, isn't it? And it's not just his co-streams, but it is mostly his co-streams. But, you know, he's a well-liked guy. He's been at the heart of like some sort of seminal moments, I thought, with like, for example, I thought Tarek, who, he knows I feel this way. I think he's like, the peanut brain joke is too hard, but I think he's a very like, usually he's a guy who like, he just goes with his instincts, and you know, like, what you should always be doing if you're a public figure is you have to do like almost a threat assessment, essentially. If I say this and do this, what could happen? You know, will I lose a sponsor? Will it cause a brouhaha? Will I get cancelled? You have to really create a web in your mind of all the paths it can possibly go down before you even say a sentence. It's why I don't stream as much, because it's like I do plan stuff out. I do script stuff out. Tonight's been off the cuff. But it's like it worries me so much that it's like so much stuff can be clipped out of context. So much stuff can, you know, be taken out of context. You can literally just stumble over your own words and the sentence can take on a drastically different meaning, or maybe there's an interpretation because you didn't mean it that way, you know. So what I was super impressed with, the reason I'm talking about that, what I was super impressed with was when all the drama kicked off with Jason R, and Jason R was like, I think it was talking on Tarek's stream, and you know, Tarek fucking set him straight. He set him straight, and obviously like Jason R's stream's fallen off a cliff since then. By the way, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But, you know, his stream's fallen off a cliff, and, you know, and because the things he said were sort of just really odious, you know, and they just weren't just really unpleasant. It's gross, you know. But Tarek had the balls in that moment there and then to set him straight and be like, you know, and that was the whole L friend moment and all of that. So I think, you know, Tarek's done a lot of growing as a public figure, as a streamer, as a person. You'd fully expect that. And, you know, I would have been happy to see him win it. But, again, Ibai getting it, I think it's his second year in a row. Fine. We won't talk about the partnership stuff. Esports coverage platform. I recuse myself from these awards. Deserto got it again. We did another one. Deserto, we got it. Now, you know how it goes. Everyone fucking says, oh, Deserto, I saw an article of theirs. And it was like, oh, you'll never guess what Pokemon said. And Pokemon was saying, I like to play Among Us. And that's the whole news article, right? Like, there are bits like that on Deserto. There has to be. If you're a modern media, you know, publication, digital media is on its arse right now. Like, the other part of the stream I was going to do today was the Jackson stuff. It's coming on to midnight. I wanted to get off by midnight, so we'll wrap up the awards chat and we'll end on the bitterness. But, you know, if you want to fucking make money in this business, it's a balancing act. But the one thing I will credit Deserto for is they spent to bring in good people in their esports coverage, even though I'm sure the traffic they get off their influencer stuff compared to esports, I bet the influencer stuff is 10 times. Easy. Of course it is. I bet if they have one story go viral, you know, and we have 10, the one that goes viral in the influencer stuff is still going to come out on top. And so that's where you have to credit the management team at Deserto is like, and obviously, again, full disclosure, I am an editor at large at Deserto. I have the sweetest job in all of fucking journalism. When you become an editor at large, it's just write things as and when. You don't do any editing. You never read anyone else's articles or work. You just basically say, here you go. This is what I've done today. This is what I'm working on now. Yeah, we'll get a feature in next week. Yeah, there you go. And they love it, you know, and they've given me complete autonomy over my work. They trust me to juggle my workload. They don't think I'm lying to them when I say I'm working on something, because they know I'm always working on something. And I thought we did really good fucking work this year, you know, all of us. The secret sauce to making our esports division great was bringing in Lewis Mira from HLTV. Just gone from strength to strength, producing amazing work. I'm so happy he got nominated for a Journalist of the Year award. He was left off the original list. That was criminal, but he was added there, and you know, he got picked up. He's killing it. You know, he's prolific. He publishes stories every day or two. He does investigative work. He writes features. He does interviews. I can't believe HLTV let him go. But that's HLTV. One of the reasons why HLTV will never be an esports coverage platform. Like, because, look, HLTV is essential for CSGO. I'm not disputing that. But what really makes it essential is their investigative reporting, all the big stories they break, their really good put together feature articles, their polemics, their editorials, their opinion pieces, their guest opinion. No, it's none of that. It's literally none of that. They regurgitate and cannibalize everyone else's reporting in that regard. Very rarely make a story of their own. And in the features writers, they don't really have any really good, talented writers, like truly over-the-top talented writers. Now, I'm not including the Dust 2 guys, and I still think of Note as a Dust 2 guy. M&M's and Note are exceptions to that rule. Those guys, I don't know if Note works at HLTV more. He should be running that site, in my opinion. He should. Him and M&M's should be. M&M should be running Dust 2, and Note should be running HLTV. Then you might have something, because those guys go out and break stories. M&M's break stories. Note break stories. But the faces of HLTV, it's like Striker, Professor, you know, some other writers whose name I can't remember. Even their podcast, it's carried by Sponge. He's a freelancer. But why HLTV is essential? Match page, database, history. It's that. Being able to pull data in real time off a server, because they're the only motherfuckers that do it. You know, having demos and a catalogue of demos. They just got a sponsorship deal that allows you to, like, download infinite demos right now, as opposed to it being capped at, like, I don't know, 10 or whatever the fuck it was. So HLTV is a great fucking website, but it is not a great coverage website. It is in the sense that Liquipedia is. And Liquipedia are there. But Liquipedia is just the coverage. It's just the charts, just the tables, just the results. Whereas Deserto has none of that. So it's like, what do you value, you know? Like, you couldn't live without Liquipedia. You couldn't live without HLTV. But if you want good journalism, and you want somebody that's going to tell you, I'm at an event, this is what an event is like, this is why, you know, it's Deserto. The one thing I will say HLTV truly excel at, photos. Their photo database. No wonder they're so snippy about it. Anyone says, here's a wicked picture. It's like, that is the copyright of HLTV, and if you ever show that again on Twitter, we will sue you into oblivion, because that picture is worth thousands and thousands. Like, oh, fuck off, Nomad, mate. You've been doing this for 20 years, and you're not bored yet. But no, he's never getting bored, is he? He lives for that shit. So, you know, but they do kill it in that regard. So, I think, look, HLTV are always going to get nominated. Liquipedia are always going to get nominated. Liquipedia should think about making some content. I'll tell you a really good website. Esports Charts. Real talk. Esports Charts gives you data about streaming numbers, and they create articles that are really good digests about why it matters, what the trends are, what's happening, and they give it to you straight. Like, they're writing about, yep, Overwatch is fucked. Look at the numbers. Here's the decline. Here it is in figures. Here's the data. Blah blah. Yeah, they're a super underrated website, and you know, love their work. But anyway, yeah, Deserto got it. Super happy. Great to be part of a team. There's loads of unsung heroes there. Lewis Mira is definitely the secret sauce. That's what turbocharges us. That's what makes us a Big Mac. It's not even my work. Like, you know, I'll sit here and suck my own dick. But at the end of the day, what makes the CSGO division in particular tick is him. But we got a ton of great writers, you know, and again, if I start missing names out, they'll all get sad. So I'm just going to say, you know, it's a great team. It really is. Super happy they get some shine. Fuck the hardware provider. Oh, no. The bitterness chapter. Right, let's do it. It's time. Big drink of water before the salt. Before the salt puckers up my mouth like a dog's arsehole. Esports Journalist of the Year. I was nominated for this award. Again, I recuse myself from this award. I give zero input into this award. I make a point of it. If I think they're talking, I don't even... In fact, even though I'm allowed to go to the parts of the meeting where they talk about it, I don't go because I'm scared that even my mere presence could impact on the award. I don't do it. And I'm brutally honest in my assessments. There was one year I got nominated. I told them they shouldn't have nominated me. I said, guys, that's like embarrassing. I've literally done nothing. I've done nothing to know. I've been a bum. But thanks for the nomination. I told them straight. When we do our submissions, I say to them, right, so I always do my submission is, you have to, if you're nominated for an award, they say, submit your work, your best work of the year, and explain to us in a written thing or whatever, why you should win the award. And every year, I send them a video, right? Every year, I send them a video, and I go through all the stories of the year, and I try and condense it to 5 minutes or whatever. And I say, like, oh, this is good, this was big, this was that, this is what I did, da-da-da-da-da. There was one year I sent them in, and I said, I don't deserve to win. This work's good, but there is much better work in short. And I won't say who, because I can't say who, but it's not me. That was pretty much... I've still got it. It's uploaded on YouTube, and it's unlisted. Like, I try and be brutally honest. Now, this year, being brutally honest, I thought I was in with a shout of winning it, sure. I mean, I thought the work I did this year, I thought it was exceptional. Like, I thought it was one of my really good years. This was like, I mean, I'm washed up now, obviously. But, you know, in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, I was untouchable. I had 4 years when I was the fucking king. Like, everything I wrote was just excellent. It was just god-tier writing, huge stories, every week a scoop. It was fucking insane. I was like, when I was good, I was so easily the best. Like, that's just, again, you know, you don't have to be modest. But, you know, in later years, you know, you probably dine out a little bit on the fame and the reputation. Stories get easier. You don't put, you know, the same level of fucking obsessive behaviour into it. And, you know, some of the writing got worse. I got a little bit burnt out, if I'm being honest. I think I've got old. I think years of heavy drinking might have, like, dulled some of the more flourishes. I find really good sentences harder to come by these days. It takes me longer to write articles, which, you know, desert or hate. So, generally feel unsatisfied with a lot of my articles. But this year, you know, I've been a bit more sober this year. I've been, you know, I've come out of the dark place I was in, and I've really tried to get some of my acuity back and be a bit more like my old self. And so I thought I did some really good work this year. I really did. And I thought, you know, if I won it, I wouldn't have been surprised. Like, that's where I'm at. So that being said, I have lost awards before when I've been nominated, because I think I've been nominated every year since these awards were in existence, and I've never been angry, never been sad, always been happy, in fact. You know, one year I lost it to Thorin. Someone sent me a clip of it. I literally turned to the camera and go, that's my boy. I was nominated for the same award. He took that award for no gripes there. He's one of the greats. How the fuck am I going to be mad? How are you going to be mad? How are you going to be mad? It's like a, you know, if Messi was like, you know, Ronaldo gets the Ballon d'Or that fucking year, whatever, you know. So anyway, happy with that. Jacob Wolfgen, he's one of the all-time greats. You know, one of the all-time greats. How am I going to be mad about losing to Jacob? You know, former protege, you know, guy. I really like him. You know, like he's done fantastic work. In some ways, you know, elevated the form. You know, the whole idea of the wolf bomb and, you know, nailing down those scoops were he made transfer stories something different. They weren't just roster leaks. They were a bit more like boom. You know, doing that on ESPN. League of Legends leaks. We've got another Wolf Bomb. That's fucking huge. Like, no one going to take that away from him. One of the OGs, like, well, absolute legend. When he gets to the end, because he'll end up writing about something else, no doubt. Like, his time in esports is legendary shit. You know, Fitch shouldn't have been on the list. Adam's a great guy. He's quit esports. Finally, all the bullshit drove him out. He quit. He had enough. He just couldn't take it, like so many journalists before him. But he was really good. He was niche. He used to write about business stuff. Even he turned around and said, I shouldn't have been nominated this year. I've done fuck all. I'm over at Hitmarker now. I don't. And now, you know, so he's bailed. Also on this list, obviously, Lewis, you know, fucking legend. If he wins, I'm fucking right there. DeSoto, double header, fucking nice one. 100%. He works harder than me. He does more on the website than me. He runs the team. He gives editorial feedback and input to everyone. He's even giving it to me. And you know what? I respect him enough to take it from him. Cecilia, I think she was at Wired, and then I always get it wrong. She's at Forbes now, right? Not Bloomberg. I always get them two mixed up. But, you know, she's done some huge reporting at two mainstream publications about esports. Pretty big stories, you know, TSM bullying stuff. She broke that. You know, oh shit, she had another big one. Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, she is, you know, like an outsider. I might have bellyached a bit about that. But, you know, for an outsider, she's got her feet under the table and she's done good reporting. And crucially, she's breaking stories, which for me, breaking an important story, that is worth 1 million roster leaks. That's worth 1 million interviews. You have to understand where I'm coming from. To do something investigative, get it up the hill, make it fit for publication and for it to be right and for it to positively change the scene, that is worth 1 million roster changes. Who gives a fuck? Players move around. It's easy. Players move around and players never shut the fuck up. Like, you do them with your eyes closed. Like, you know, once you know, like, 10 people in a scene, that's it. You will hear, like, loads of roster moves. It's, like, just real talk. Like, so anyway. Oh, and again, just special word for Kevin as well. Kevin hit. And I know Chandy Texera as well. I talked about him on the last one. You know, this is like George being added on. I'll say as well, because this is the thing. Liz Richardson she even shared some bylines with Jacob, broke some big stories, wrote about the Department of Justice looking at, or the Monopoly Commission or someone looking into the Overwatch League to see if they'd broken the rules, you know, with their luxury tax and all that shit. So, you know, everyone on that list, right, like, has done investigative work, broken big stories, you know? When it was announced, and I didn't even know, because apparently we'd all been told that the journalist was on the fucking day now with the Hall of Famers, you know? And so I didn't know that. So I was in bed. I was in bed, and it wasn't televised or nothing. Oh, fuck, what's going on? I'm getting loads of messages, like phone fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's I don't even know what time it was. Like 3 or something? Like, I don't know. Anyway, loads of messages, like, unlucky. Why am I unlucky at 3 in the morning? What have I done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just no context in these messages. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I think the awards are tomorrow. I think I'm finding out tomorrow. I was going to co-scream it. Glad I fucking didn't. Would have looked like a right dickhead if I had. Right? Would have looked a massive dickhead. Unlucky. Fucking hell, mate. What's happened? Is someone dead? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happened? And then Ashley Kang was the thing, and then I put it together, and I was like, oh, and I went, fucking rolled over, lifted up the laptop, and there it was, you know. Out of this list, there were only 2 names that were going to, like, bother me, and that was Wooloo, which, you know, thank God, we haven't got there yet, a cartoon Pokemon roster leaker, who I think doesn't even do esports anymore, wants to do Formula 1, because he's just another one of those, like, I have built up my Twitter account for cloud. So that was shocking. But the Ashley Kang one particularly bothers me, because, first point, she won the Journalist of the Year award for the same type of work that won a Content Creator of the Year. Think about that. Right? Long form interviews with Korean players. And look, I'll tell you this. I know they're super popular, but we're gonna get into some little detail. I know they're super popular with the League of Legends fans, you know. It's very good. It's nice to have someone who can lift the veil on Korea, a very insular region. Obviously, she knows the players. Obviously, she's embedded there. Obviously, she speaks the language fluently. Obviously, she speaks English fluently. It's a great marriage, you know. It's like all of those things, you know, coming together to get really good interview content. But I'ma just say it: if she can be nominated for that, well, Thorin can be nominated for Reflections. And no question, he's never getting nominated for another Journalist of the Year award, right? Don't even put him forward for content creator. He puts out a video every day. And by the way, that's anyone, right? A podcast is a long form interview. Is Lex Friedman a journalist? Is Joe Rogan a fucking journalist? Is that meathead a journalist? No. So, once again, we've had a fucking problem, haven't we? We've got a fucking problem with understanding our definitions. Now, it was brought up to me, because I was talking about it on the Discord earlier. It was brought up to me that she has done a few roster leaks. Aye, very cool. For me, there isn't a story comparable that she's touched. I saw as well, she leaked like some Discord logs or something, or published some Discord logs that had been leaked. And it was like Korean fans losing their shit over something. And she was like, well, this is the current drama. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is not an earth-shattering story by any, you know, stretch of the imagination. But like, I think about the work, right? So Cecilia, you know, TSM are being investigated for Reginald being a bully behind the scenes, and this is what's going on. Boom. One of the biggest esports orgs in the world, and the founder and fucking CEO is a fucking arsehole. And really to the detriment of its employees. Lewis Mira interviewing people going to the Ukrainian front to fight against Russian invaders. Great work. I already talked about Liz. Department of Justice looking into a esports league to see whether or not they're broken like Monopoly or Monsopony rules. Huge story. Jacob Wolf went out on his own, started a podcast called Visionaries, where he's interviewing all different, I've been on it, disclosure, where he interviews all people from different strata of fucking esports and everything they've done. Got his own Substack, broke a ton of big stories on that. Kevin Hitt continues to do amazing work over at Sports Business Journal. You know, had multiple scoops again. Reigning champ. George, who I haven't talked much about. If roster moves are so great, how would you pick Ashley breaking like 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that? George breaks every Valorant roster move. He has it on lock. So this was like a real surprise to me. Like I said, there's only one other name on that list where I would have been like... And Shandy Texera is Esports Maniacos. And they obviously, again, not an English-speaking publication, but they get everything right. They break all the big roster moves. They do all that other stuff. So, you know, there's only one other name on that list where I'm like, fucking hell, you know, like, and so it was just really, like, and I'm not going to get into details, but, I mean, the general consensus seems to be, like, what the fuck? Outside of, like, you know, Zoomer League of Legends fans on the League of Legends subreddit. Here's another reason why I have an issue with it. This is where it gets salty. I don't consider Ashley... Ashley did it. She did a pre-recorded speech like we all did. And hers went out, and she was saying this award means everything to her because her integrity is paramount. She values journalistic integrity. That phrase again. Over everything. And I'm like, nah, this is garbage. This is not true at all. When the Reddit moderators on the League of Legends subreddit do what they do with every content creator, here's what they do. It's a shakedown because they're scum, right? They're scum. They're animals. Like, it's outrageous the way they behave. What they do is they come to they delete a piece of content, and then they say to the content creator, your content, it's just a bit like, I don't even know if we can really have it on the subreddit. It'd be a shame if your job was in jeopardy because your content couldn't get on the subreddit. We can have a talk about it, though. And they're just weird little twisted fanboys who just want to show you they matter, but also, I'm talking to an important person. They do it with everyone. They do it with every content creator. They try it on with every content creator. Now, if you're a fucking content creator who makes stupid videos, It's fine. There's no ethical problem with this. But if you're a journalist and they are demanding to edit your work or have input in it in exchange for having it on the subreddit, there is only one answer. You say, fuck off. You will never be a silent, anonymous editor of my work. I'm a fucking journalist, homie. Like, I am not going to allow you to do that. It would be grotesquely unethical to have secret, silent partners editing your work for suitability for their standards without the public being able to know what those standards were, what those conflicts of interest were, and not being able to find them anywhere because you would assume my editor would be my editor, not a bunch of shadowy basement-dwelling gremlins on Reddit. So the only answer is fuck off. Did Ashley Kang say fuck off? No. Ashley Kang did not say fuck off. She refused to stand with all the other journalists that got banned and fucked with. Me, William Turton, Jacob Wolf, Thorin. Oh yeah, remember one of the Reddit mods over there was literally running up the flagpole to ban Thorin for hate speech because he interviewed Miss Harvey about women in video games. And he said, I think there's like some fundamental differences in how men and women view gaming. Talking to a very prominent and well-respected woman about it. And he said that, and one of the Reddit mods said that was hate speech and he needed to be banned, right? So that's where they're at. They did it with Jacob Wolf. They were going to put unconfirmed tags on all of Jacob Wolf's work. When Jacob Wolf was doing all the roster moves, the mods were put deliberately to fuck with him, so he got less traffic. They were making mega threads only for Jacob Wolf. So all of his stories, all of his reporting didn't get individual traffic. They put them in a mega thread to fuck him. Because why? He refused to bend the knee. Thorin refused to bend the knee. William Turton refused. The mods literally asked William Turton, who is now a tech journalist, far, far away from esports, and more power to him for getting out, because it's a madhouse. They demanded that he reveal sources to them. I cannot tell you, if you engage with those people, you are the enemy of journalism. You are the enemy of journalism. You shouldn't even talk to those people, right? But Ashley, when she had her content removed and they ran the shakedown, what did she do? You think she said, listen, the game's not going to work on me. I'm a serious journalist. You don't get to input on my work. No, she literally did the exact opposite. She said, what do I have to do to get my work on the subreddit? I'll do anything, essentially. And so it was all sound. And then on top of that, she then teamed up with that Corey Lulu Reddit user. And what does Corey Lulu do? Corey Lulu made a bot. And what it does is the second that a piece of content from an approved source that he puts into the bot is released, it submits it to the League of Legends subreddit. And I'm pretty sure as well, if you're making a bot that does that, you probably make a bot that massages it, the first 10 upvotes, 20 upvotes. I got no proof about that, so that's speculation on my part, to be clear. But all of Corey Lulu's stuff got to the front page and got loads of karma. Now, by the way, that used to be against Reddit rules. If you sat down with a Reddit staff member back in the day, 2013, 2014, they would tell you any automated bot submissions were fucking against the rules. But because it was League of Legends, and because the moderators don't have any standards except we just ban what we don't like, it's our subreddit, and it was one of the most popular subreddits on Reddit. Now Reddit just doesn't matter, which is great news for everybody, but it's still a little bit of traffic. Corey Lulu just submits all her interviews and they all go to the front page. So that is apparently somebody that values journalistic integrity overall. Nah, not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Being a journalist, that title, that label, that has always meant something to me. That's who I am. If you strip me down, you peel me away like an onion. When you get down to it, who is Richard Lewis? He's whatever a journalist is meant to be. It's sad, it's tragic. Don't really have anything else in my life. No wife, no kids at my age. Probably never going to have those things, right? Got the work, so it matters to me. And so when people say stuff like that, like, I did leave out alcoholic. I do have some outrageous personal habits. But when people, that's like the layer above. All journalists have that layer. Like, you know, what are we talking about? But anyway, for me, I'm just staggered by it because I don't think the work warrants it, and I certainly don't think what the individual does is in line with what an ethical journalist should be doing. That's just my personal feelings. If I was like the editor at her publication and heard of her doing that stuff, it would be a deal breaker. How can I ever trust that you're not changing things about your reporting or your stories or your interviews to suit this shadowy cabal of people whose names we don't even know, just so you can get hits, clicks, and views, you know? And also, I know the interviews are really well liked and everyone says they're hard hitting and all of this stuff. I've watched their interviews. I mean, you know, I think they're really good interviews. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she's a bad interviewer at all. It's not about that. What I'm saying is that, like, it's Riot's world and it's Korea. And if you know anything about, like, South Korea and how regimented that region is in terms of what you're allowed to say and what you're allowed to do, and the fan reactions to it, the fans are really over the top out there. And then you factor in, it's also a Riot video game, right? Do you think those interviews might be pre-screened a little bit? No one's going in blind. When you come on an episode of the Richard Lewis show, like, it's just, you know, we're going to have a conversation for 90 fucking minutes. It goes anywhere. If you don't like it, you're going to have to hit disconnect. You know? That's not going on in a Riot fucking video game. So I'm 100% certain that she's doing pre-screened stuff. It's not even as good as you think it is. But it comes back to the key component of this. And that is just simply that, for me, the hardest part of being a journalist is reporting. The hardest part of being a reporter is investigative reporting and breaking stories. And everyone on that list, again, I'm not even doing this like mad salty bit of speech like if, you know, Cecilia wins, right? So people are going to say, oh, he's pissed off he lost. Nah, ain't me. Again, I can prove everything I've said, right, about like telling people not to give me the award or whatever. Who gives a fuck, right? At the end of the day, the work has to be its own reward or you're in the wrong business, right? I know what's good. I know how hard I work. I know what stories matter. But at the end of the day, the stories that have been broken by these other people, I feel sorry for them as well. It's not like just me, you know. It's like I said, Cecilia wins it. You can't say I'm a misogynist. I'd be more than happy if Cecilia won it, right? If Kevin had held his crown, no gripe in. If Jacob gets another one and matches me like 2 times, the young kid's breathing down my neck and I'm about to quit and maybe he'll get... No, it's none of that. But this award, I don't know. It was one of those where I was so disappointed that everyone else was overlooked. It sort of made the awards I did get feel less. Like, that's how strongly I felt about it in that, you know, when I saw. I was like, that kind of diminishes the overall award now a little bit. Because Ashley can be in content creator and win content creator all day long for me. Never gonna bat an eyelid. She does great interviews. Does great work in that field with all the asterisks I just talked about. But being the journalist of the year in that field, this fucking ultra strong field with ultra strong reporting, people doing a literal fucking war reporting for the first time in esports, people writing, you know, things about like, you know, there's a you know, interviewing people that are going to fight in a war. Like, there's no contest. So there you go. There's the salty Richard Lewis's bit, and no doubt they'll be calling me a misogynist and a racist or a liar or, you know, whatever it is, whatever it has to be, because it couldn't just be from the heart, honest truth, could it? There would have to be something nasty about me. Old far-right Richard Lewis, notorious far-right icon Richard Lewis. You know, fuck me. The stuff I read about myself, mental. Anyway, here's the good news. Where was it? I've been thinking about, like, maybe making a secret YouTube account where I review games and not telling anyone and just seeing if it algorithmically trends. So I've been revisiting games that are misunderstood. And so I've actually done the unthinkable. I picked up Fallout 76 in a sale. And I've been recording all the footage. So I've got loads of videos. And it's pretty bad, like, mechanically speaking. It ain't great. But it had some real cool moments in the first 10 hours. There was some it was really good. There was some really good moments, some really good. It was the good moments in 76 were as good as the good moments in Fallout 4. And Fallout 4 had some really good moments. But it's just again, I won't get into it. Fucking nothing. But anyway, so I've been recording loads of Fallout 4 footage, and mate, it's brilliant. I've got so many glitches. I would have thought by now they would have patched them all out, but I could make that Joseph Anderson video. I could make that Joseph Anderson video, where he's the 1001 glitches of Fallout 7. I could make a sequel to that. The things I've seen. So anyway, speech. This is the speech. Yes, thanks to everyone involved in awarding me the Esports Journalist of the Year award, making me the 3-time winner. Respect to all my fellow nominees as well. It was a really strong field this year. Not the 3-time. Fantastic reporting. And I am, who's the winner today, dickhead?
Person to accept the award. Last time I got one of these, I gave a speech calling out the negative impact the games press was having on our industry. And well, to be honest, criticizing those guys is like shooting fish in a barrel at this point. So I'm going to aim a little bit higher this time. And therefore, I'd like to address our self-proclaimed industry leaders, many of whom will be sat at your tables drinking complimentary champagne and enjoying an evening of being pandered to like so many before them. My year was largely spent writing about the impact of our industry losing its way and becoming fixated on profit. I never thought I'd live to see a day when the chairman of the board of the largest tournament operator in esports is someone also dropping bombs on children. But here we are. And I think like a lot of people, I've just grown tired of the moral cowardice we've all come to accept as the price of doing business. You're all happy to bleat on social media about the moral failings of your customers, and then you pose for photos when you announce investment from war criminals and human rights violators. We've all watched you tie yourself in knots with disingenuous posturing on issues you immediately contradict yourselves on, shrugging it off with a, hey, it's complicated, man. And I, like many of my colleagues, are just tired of having to write these stories, especially as they are so frequent and thus far have changed so little. So I ask you directly, industry leaders, in 2023, will you actually start leading? Will you lead by fighting the battles in the parts of the world where you will face consequences for your principles? Lead by refusing to do business with people that hold values absolutely not compatible with esports and our global fan base. Lead by being unafraid to criticize regimes that do unconscionable things instead of ignoring it because you want to sell your products there. Show leadership by no longer hiding behind the excuse of fiduciary duty as the reason why saying no to tainted money just simply isn't possible. Stop giving yourself that pass that it's okay because Formula One does it. It's not only possible to do these things, but for our industry to truly thrive, it's absolutely necessary. And the downside for you, well, instead of being mega wealthy, you might only get to be just wealthy. The difference between those two numbers, by the way, that's the price you place on your values. And if values are for sale, they are not values at all. So, to the already brave and courageous in the room, people I'm honoured to call colleagues and friends, and have done for many years, I hope you will join me in making 2023 a true year of accountability in the esports space, because if we don't, we might have missed our last chance to stop the course we're on. Thanks very much. So yeah, kind of really did want to drop that one. I'm not going to lie. Kind of wanted to fucking drop that one. Would have loved to have done it in person, but would have loved to have done it. But yeah, unfortunately, it just we never got that moment, did we? We never got the moment. This is what I mean. There were, it's tipped over, hasn't it? Esports, it's not for us anymore. So, but yeah. So look, salty bitterness, but I will also as well try and ring it all back in at the end and just say, look, at the end of the day. It's nothing against the people that voted for her or anything like that. It's just obviously the journalist area is always going to be frustrating for me because it's my area of expertise, but it's also the area I can't get involved in. So, whatever.
It's one of those. Anyway, look, there's some more to talk about just at the end, so we can take out the horrible taste in our mouths and get to this. Esports Publisher of the Year, Riot Games. Who else? Who else could it be? You can see all the other people. I mean, EA are in there, like LOL, Garena, double LOL. Yeah, it was just Riot Games. Of course, it was Riot. Esports supporting service of the year. Who got this? Yes, Esports Engine. Of course they did. Esports Engine, that's Adam Apsellers, Sundances, and Mike Sepsos, the people behind MLG. That's their tournament. They're like essentially a freelance tournament operator group. And they've been killing it. I even went to one of their events when I was out in New York. I went to the Call of Duty finals, as I said earlier. And it was a great event. Really, really good. Ran totally smooth. No tech issues. They really know what they're doing. Great venue, great setting, great crowd, an appropriate venue that filled up, never felt empty. Yeah, it was really. Now, I will say, we did have to go to Flatbush. I think it was over in Flatbush. Now, New Yorkers know what I'm talking about. But, you can't have everything. It was a great venue for Flatbush. For sure. It's classic theatre they had it in. But anyway, Esports Engine have been doing loads of stuff behind the scenes, and they haven't been beating the drum. There was a rumor going around that I think they were going to pitch for a major. I would love them to do it. I think MLG Columbus, was one of the best of all time. They're only going to have got better with experience and time. So yeah, I mean, I really, really hope they do that. And we see them involved in some capacity. Very worthy winners. Just looking at the list as well, I mean, this is Bryce Blum's law firm. How far we've come in our incredible tapestry as a community and, as a space where I met Bryce Blum when he wanted to become one of the first ever esports lawyers. And now his now ESG Law is being nominated for awards for all the people they've helped out. Kind of crazy, isn't it, when you think? And obviously all the talent agencies like Evolved are really good. CSA is fucking great. Prodigy are the new kids on the block. I buried the hatchet with Jerome Coupe, or however you pronounce his name. Buried the hatchet with him temporarily. He got himself into the classic holding pattern where it's like, dude, this is my timeline. I like to read things I want to read on my timeline. You're spamming the timeline. If you spam the timeline, I will Thanos you out of the motherfucking timeline with a block, and then you will lose your mind and ask all your friends to demand that I unblock you, and that will mean you will never get unblocked. But I did give him a second chance because, he's been doing good work. So is what it is. So yeah, happy with that award. And the broadcast production team of the year. This is a bit contentious. It should have been Blast for me. But I mean, Riot Games, LCS is the best. LCS is like a broadcast that, like, you put that on television, no one blinks an eye. There's still, so I can sort of get it. But it would have been Blast for me. I mean, PGL being nominated. I'm gonna play the fucking Linkin Park trombone man again. Like, it's so ridiculous. How has that happened? ESL as well, just a joke. Like, the nominees on this were, like, piss weak. Just garbage. Esports apparel of the year. 100 Thieves, yeah, that's what they do. And then, yeah, cosplay. I don't know anything about it. I just don't know anything about cosplay. I'll leave it there. Esports creative team of the year, Loud with all the work they've done. The collegiate program, I don't know why this is controversial. I don't know enough about collegiate to know why it's controversial, but I'm going to dig into it because everyone lost their shit of all the collegiate awards. Esports photograph of the year, that's obviously, you can see there, Tears. And that's that. Hang on, is that my old friend Rohan? Shit, where did we work together? Was it Esports Heaven? Must have been. Anyway, yeah, congrats. Congrats on the new gig. Yeah, basically, overall, didn't have a lot of problems with the awards themselves, bar one or two that we talked about. I thought, now just to wrap up the awards talk, I'll say there was a little bit of a weird vibe this year. like, it felt, I don't know if it was this audio mix, but it felt muted. Like, I was watching it, I was absolutely fucking blasted tired, man. I was thinking, I'll core stream it, as I said, but I was like, nah. But anyway, it felt really muted. Like, the reaction to the awards was like, it didn't really feel like there was, like, a lot of energy in the room like there had been in previous years. I don't know why that is. I don't know, it felt like a lot of the content that, usually have some zip zap zoozle, people moving around, things. It didn't feel like there was a lot of that. I thought and I get why you have to do it, I thought the sponsor stuff was maybe a bit more front and center this time around. Usually it's been a bit more in the background in past years. And I just don't like this split. I just don't like the split that you have, where all the esports legends don't get the same level of shine as all the current influencers. There's something wrong about that, and it needs to be fixed, I think. There was a couple of weird little gripey dramas as well I saw on my timeline. I think people were tweeting about, like, I don't know if they'd ran out of swag bags or something, I don't know. So, whatever. But, I give a fuck about that. And so overall, it didn't feel like, I know this is going to upset the team, and I hope they're not listening to this like the day after or whatever, when everyone's exhausted after an event, because it's the worst time to listen to feedback, because you're just so emotionally drained. But for me, it didn't feel as shiny as even like last year. I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it. It lacked a bit of energy. I still prefer it to like the Game Awards and all, whatever the fuck, that one where that guy got up and said, "I'd like to thank my rabbi, Bill Clinton." And everyone's going, it's a dog whistle. He's dog whistling. And it's like, he's a 15-year-old Jewish kid. He's dog whistling. Oh, we just found out. Like, that was really disappointing. I saw a journalist I really respect, basically like sort of petitioning like a very popular political Twitch streamer, whose community is known for doing pretty radical, out there, weird things, and saying, crowdsource his identity. And I'm like, you're a journalist, dog. Your job, rather than the rabid mob. Get on this popular Twitch political streamer who recently won an award for best news. Don't tell a bunch of fucking anonymous lunatics on the internet crowdsource this person's identity, especially when you're a journalist. You do it. You find out who he is. Do some journalism. So I saw that, and that upset me. But anyway, so I still think the Esports Awards, like, I hate the Game Awards. I fucking hate it so much. Even in a show as quick as this one, the Game Awards, it just feels like a fucking commercial. Like, you're just a commercial beamed into your face. And I don't know why Al Pacino was there. Like, what? Like, I have celebrities there, but I have celebrities that make sense. Just Al Pacino, just fucking coming out, like, just out of his mind, 82 or whatever he is. Like, what? Well, it's still sharper than Joe. So yeah, I couldn't be asked with that. So the Esports Awards, I mean, that would be the tag for this. Esports Awards. Better than the Game Awards this year, but not better than last year's Esports Awards, sadly, for me personally. But I wasn't there in person, so I don't know. Again, I know you can always get a disconnect from live. And final thoughts. I'll end on a positive note. I thought Shocks and Alex, did a great job hosting it. That was really good. That's a given, isn't it? Really nice in and out. Wonderful float weight, great chemistry between the two of them. Lots of fun. That's always going to be a winner. Can't go wrong there.